Happy Friday! It is Girl Talk Live coming at you today. If you're in North Carolina with me, isn't it so nice out? I'm so excited. It's so nice out today. So if you're out here and it's nice weather where you are, make sure you get outside today and take in some of that. I have a special guest that'll be joining me here in a second. I'm going to see if I can invite her. Today we're talking about our teeth. So some of you have been following my journey with oral health, and you've been hearing me talk about, my story and trying to get these teeth taken care of. Well, I met our special guest. Something's happening here. Let me try to invite her. Please be patient. Okay, wait. There she is.
Hi.
She is. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I was trying to join on my computer, but my computer said no. So
Yeah, the computers don't always work. And you know what?
Yeah.
Here we go. Let me see if I can hear you through my headphones, which I don't recommend these, by the way, but they're helpful for these.
I sing, but you wouldn't like it.
Right. You know what? It's still, I can't hear it with them. Okay. We're gonna put them away. I'm telling y'all, every time I try to do a Girl Talk Live here lately, there's just been some sort of technical difficulty, and we're just gonna rock and roll with it today.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for joining me. This is Calandra Farley.
Nice to meet everyone.
Coming to us all the way from Georgia.
Yep.
You're what, like an hour and a half away from Atlanta?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So just a little backstory for those of you who are new here. Calandra and I'm pretty sure I slid up into her DMs because I noticed that she was a hygienist, a dental hygienist, but she was promoting essential oils for dental health, for oral health. And that, I love to see that, and I love to hear that because I have researched it and I've studied it, and I know that essential oils are really, really very valuable to our whole, our oral health. And, a lot of my people that are probably going to watch and enjoy this conversation today, they heard all about my last year. I went on this transition from a traditional dentist to a holistic dentist, and I tried one. I had a interesting experience, and then I tried another whom I really like. He's more integrative. And so a lot of people were hitting me up, and they were like, I need the name of your dentist. I have had the same problems that you have, and I am looking for a solution. So when I saw that you were about the same thing, about how do we take care of our mouth naturally, I was like, well, I need to be her friend, and I also need to introduce her to the best essential oils on the market, especially since we're putting them in our mouths. I'm like, yo, you need to know why you ain't promoting doTERRA. You need to know about doTERRA. And
I just want you guys to know that's exactly how that happened.
It is. And what's so funny is your response to me when we were talking, and you were like, yeah, I don't really want to sell essential oils. And I was like, but you're selling essential oils. You're selling them. Let me hook you up with the best company, the best oils. That's another conversation. But yeah, so I said, you got to come on my little talk show, and let's talk about oral health. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about your backstory? How long have you been in dental health? What is it called?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And thanks so much for having me, by the way.
Yeah.
So I have been a hygienist for 12 years, and I absolutely love it. I always say it was a happy accident or divine providence that I stumbled into dentistry. It is the absolute perfect career for me, and I really love it. So I've been doing it for 12 years strong now, and yeah, this is where it's at for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Now you have a holistic leaning.
Yes.
But you worked previously for a traditional dentist, no?
Yes.
Okay.
But the dentist that I worked for, he was traditional, or he is a traditional dentist, but we actually did a lot of integrative things, a lot of holistic things. And I worked for him for about 6 years. And that's actually how I got into the world of kind of the integrative side of dentistry and learning more about that. And so I have to credit him for that. That's really kind of how I got my start with even the mindset of how does this affect the body, or what else can we be looking at here?
Yeah, no, I love that. So when you talk, for those that aren't familiar with this, when you talk about integrative dentistry and holistic dentistry, can you explain what that means?
Absolutely, yeah. So integrative dentistry seeks to take traditional dentistry with holistic solutions and kind of marry the two. So it looks at the function of the body, the function of the teeth. It looks at other things besides just drill and fill. It looks at what's really happening behind the scenes, and it seeks to treat the person, not just the disease or the symptom, but it also looks at, but how does this treatment affect the rest of the body? How is this treat? Yes, it might look pretty. Yes, it might, whatever, but how is this going to affect our patients long term? And I think that really in general, whether people admit it or not, that's kind of the way of the future. We can no longer ignore the fact that all of these things, including all of our bodies, are connected. The mouth is connected to everything else. And so I think that's kind of the way of the future, where even general dentists, even traditional dentists, are starting to look at more holistic, or at least some integrative solutions that can really provide the best solution for our patients.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the most part of me like going the holistic route. That was one of the first most interesting things that I learned. It's not surprising to me, just getting into doTERRA, I've learned how interconnected our bodies are. It makes sense. It's one body. But I didn't realize that the teeth are connected with so much of the body. Now, is this fact or fiction? So let me say this before I go here. What I have learned is there are extremes when it comes to holistic dentistry. There are people that are on one extreme or the other, and maybe they have techniques and tactics that are questionable. Like, how do you do that? And then there are people who are on the traditional end of the spectrum who are just like, we call it drill and fill, and fluoride.
Refuse to acknowledge that there might be some other solution.
Exactly. So there are two extremes of the spectrum. One of the reasons why I like Calandra is because she hits right in the middle, and my new dentist hits right in the middle, because we want to acknowledge and respect everybody's decision to try different things. So I did have an extremist, though, dentist, my first one, and he said that every tooth in your mouth is connected specifically to an organ in your body. Is that true?
To be honest with you, I haven't done enough research on it to say yes or no. I have not found it to be true in my years of practice. So for me, I think what I look at as the mouth as an organ. And that organ is connected to the rest of your body. It's the doorway to the rest of the body. And not only that, the cell membranes in your mouth and the tissues in your mouth, they're very soft, and they're very malleable and pliable. And so they allow things in and out in a very permeable way. So I have found that to be more generally true than each tooth is connected to a specific organ in the body.
Yeah, no, but that makes so much sense, that it is truly the gateway. When we talk about how we get sick, it's our hands and our mouth, right? It's how we're bringing stuff in is typically in that way. So it's all connected. Okay, so another question for you: to fluoride or not to fluoride? So there's a lot of debate.
What a question! Yes, there is a lot of debate. So as you mentioned, I tend to be middle of the road. I am a firm believer that you need to do your research.
Mhm.
Don't just go off of what you hear someone say on the internet or even what your practitioner might tell you. You really need to do your own research. And so my answer for fluoride is this. There is strong evidence to support that fluoride can be toxic in very high levels. That cannot be denied. However, there are many things, if we're honest with ourselves, that are toxic in very high levels. Oxygen itself being one of them, salt being another. So yes, it's toxic in very high levels. I don't think any dental professional will deny that. Absolutely no. And should you necessarily be ingesting it in water every day? Maybe not. But is having a fluoride treatment going to be beneficial for your teeth in a small quantity? Yes, it will. Yeah, it absolutely will strengthen the enamel. But if you're just uncomfortable with it, there are alternatives, and they're fantastic alternatives that have been scientifically studied and proven to be just as effective as fluoride, but they work in a different way.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, you know, if you're okay with fluoride, it's a great solution. It can really be beneficial in some very specific ways. But if you're not okay with it, there's some wonderful solutions. And you just need to talk to your dental professional about what makes you feel most comfortable. Because at the end of the day, we want your oral health to be healthy. We want your mouth to be healthy. And what you're going to do and what you're going to feel comfortable with doing on a daily basis, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's very balanced. And I think for me, I started to do some research and I felt like fluoride was questionable. And I, like you, you're right. We are exposed to so many different toxins. And so my take on it was, you know what, where I can eliminate, I'm going to eliminate, and where I can find alternatives, I'm going to find alternatives. I did find that my dentist was very much like, who I really loved him, but they just, actually it was the hygienist that just really were like, no, fluoride, 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 fluoride. But when I spoke to the dentist, he said, if you don't want it, there are other alternatives, which I was like, well, by golly, I want the alternative that are just as effective. And so, now you're new to doTERRA, so you may not know this, but we do have an oral care line. So we have On Guard, which is one of our most popular oil blends, and it's really good for really just helping to boost your immune system. And it's really not boosting the immune system; it's supporting the immune system, and so in a different way. And so we've got a mouthwash with that, with the On Guard solution in there. We have floss. And we have toothpaste. It doesn't have, none of them have fluoride, all have natural alternatives. They've actually improved the toothpaste. So that's what I use right now. But I'm sure that there are other brands and toothpaste. Are there any that you might recommend outside of doTERRA?
Yeah, so one that I really like is called Boca, B-O-K-A. It uses hydroxyapatite. So with I always tell people, you know, with fluoride and hydroxyapatite, because a lot of people are like, what is it? What's the difference? What's the deal here? So I always think about, like, if you think about an ancient city, they always had moats and they had, you know, like this whole big wall around them. That's fluoride. Fluoride is going to protect the outer layer of the teeth. That's what it's going to strengthen. It attracts calcium and phosphorus to the teeth. But hydroxyapatite, because most of our tooth structure is actually made of natural hydroxyapatite, when you put hydroxyapatite on the tooth immediately recognizes what it is, which means it's going to take it in. And so hydroxyapatite works by strengthening from the inside of the tooth. So that's how they're a little bit different. But both of them have actually proved to be very effective. So Boca, B-O-K-A, is a natural toothpaste that uses hydroxyapatite rather than fluoride if you do need a little bit of extra strengthening. But I love what you mentioned about doTERRA and the essential oils and how they've come up with a line that can really work to boost and support the immune system. And I think a lot of us don't realize how important, when we're talking about holistic or integrative dentistry, we think about, oh, I have to brush, I have to floss, which is true and it's important. But other things like nutrition, like immune support, like supplementation are equally as important, if not more important. And so I think that that's such a beautiful thing to have something that is going to be supporting the immunity, because ultimately, that's what's gonna, a lot of the time, help you fight off those cavities, especially if you're already doing other things right.
Yeah, I love that. You are so speaking my language. And that's the case in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Diet, exercise,
Yeah.
supplementation, all of those things. That's what our bodies need. And
Right.
we gotta give it, if we give our bodies what they need, then they will be able to heal and repair itself. That's just how we were created in that way. But we gotta do our part. We gotta really do our part. We got a question from the from the people.
Ooh, okay.
We got a caller calling in with a question all the way down from Alabama. She wants to know about oil pulling, and I want to get your perspective on that as well.
Okay. So here's my take on oil pulling. I am always impressed with someone who is willing to stand in the bathroom and spend 15 or 20 minutes on their teeth. I absolutely applaud it, and that is the honest truth. However, many people use oil pulling for detox purposes. I think that oil pulling can be supported if you're using it for detox by a drop or two of essential oil. To be perfectly honest with you, using certain essential oils that say are antibacterial or antifungal, depending on what situation you have going on in your body, yes, it absolutely can support that. Now, does that mean that everyone needs to be oil pulling every day for 20 minutes? No, not necessarily. No. What we do need to be doing is flossing our teeth, because that is going to that's really going to be more effective at getting in between the teeth, general cleaning, oxygenating the gums. Flossing is going to be more of that. But now, if you have a specific problem or a specific something that's happening in your mouth, can oil pulling support that and help that? Yes, absolutely. But is it an alternative? I can stop brushing because I oil pull for 20 minutes? No.
No, absolutely not. And if you oil pull, and you definitely want to brush your teeth after that.
Right.
You got some. Okay, wait. Okay, we here. Yeah, my battery's dying. Okay. Oh, we got the people. The questions are coming in from all over. So we have a question about natural toothpaste specific for kids. Anything that you would recommend? Would that Boca be a good recommendation?
I think Boca would be a good recommendation. Honestly, most of the natural toothpaste that are on the market now, even like Tom's, the really big popular brands, they're good. They're good dinner prices. I'm not gonna. They're good. I always tell my patients, whatever toothpaste you are going to use every single day, that is the one I want you to use.
Yeah.
If it's fluoride, whatever it is. And so most of the bigger companies, they're going to have solutions for children that are going to be really great, especially going back to the fluoride question. A lot of the time when people are talking about toxicity, things like that, it happens in kids under 6. Usually because they have been unsupervised and they swallowed like an entire tube of toothpaste or something, because kids are naturally going to swallow things when you put them in their mouths.
Yeah.
That's so that they can survive. Because, but most of the time with toxicity, that's kind of what it is. So I totally understand people who want to use natural toothpaste for their children as safer solutions. You always just want to make sure, even if you're using a natural toothpaste, just a little pinch, like a pea-sized amount or like a rice-sized, a grain-sized amount. But any of the big companies that sell natural toothpaste are going to have some really good solutions for kids also.
Yeah, awesome. And I don't know, Kirad, hey girl, I don't know who you are, but try doTERRA's. It's really good. Stephanie is saying that her dentist actually noticed improvements since she was using doTERRA's toothpaste. I like it because it tastes good, but I do.
Whatever makes you brush your teeth.
Listen, I find that my teeth. Okay, so let me tell you about my teeth, Calandra, because we haven't really talked about my teeth. I feel like I need a consultation with you. So
okay. I'm here for
it. I have had probably over 10 root canals in my teeth throughout my years. A lot of my fillings have had to be redone. So I believe that almost every tooth in my head has required some sort of drilling and you know, some sort of oral surgery. And I had, for a long time, a fear of the dentist. I work through it now with, I'm heavily supplemented when I go into the dentist now. I had I had a hot tooth once that, when I finally got a root canal done on it, I was not 100% numb. I was probably like 75% numb, and I was traumatized by that whole experience. And so there are a lot of people out there. This is the reason why I went the holistic route, because I'm like, you keep telling me the same thing, and I am doing what you're telling me, and it's not working. So there's something more here. There's something more here. There has to be. So what is it, and what direction do I need to go in? And so that's kind of why I started to explore other alternatives. And when I started going down that rabbit hole, and it is a rabbit hole, like of awareness, like, oh my gosh. So out of that came, there's a documentary, you probably have seen it, that caused lots of controversy in the dental world. The Root Cause, I think, is what it was about. And it was about root canals, and it was about the danger of having root canals. What's your take on that?
So the documentary, I haven't seen it, but it's in my queue to watch. I'm currently hunting it down because I think Netflix took it away or something like that.
Yes,
so I'm trying to find it. So if anybody knows where I can see it, you know, please let me know.
Yeah.
But my take on that is this: for most people, you know, having the traditional root canal, they're fine. I think most people hear the word root canal and they're terrified instantly because they've had horror stories, things like that. And so with the root canal, the basics of what it is we're taking out the nerve, because the nerve has become infected, right? And so a lot of the time, and like you said, if the nerve, if there's still some infection there, you're not going to be able to get completely numb, and that's just the truth. And that's why a lot of the time dentists want to prescribe antibiotics, things like that, before root canals, because they know that when you're only 50% numb or 75% numb, it's going to be a traumatic experience. And believe it or not, we are not sadists, and we do not want to hurt you. We want to make it a really pleasant experience. So dentists and hygienists are not trying to hurt you. But for a lot of people, that's just not the solution. It's just not. You know, they don't like the ingredients, especially like in the gutta percha, things like that. And so there are, fortunately, because we live in 2022, which is a wonderful age to be in, there are solutions that are holistic, that are integrative, that, you know, for whatever part of it that you don't feel comfortable with, or if you want to just go completely the holistic route, there are some wonderful solutions that can really be just as effective and can really help patients to go through with their dental treatment and feel comfortable with what they're doing. But going right back to what we talked about before about prevention and about supporting our bodies, to giving them what they need. Obviously, you know, hygienists love to tell people that we are prevention specialists. That is what we do. That is our bread and butter. Dentists, of course, they fix things, all of that stuff. Hygienists are prevention specialists. And so we believe very strongly and very heavily in prevention and what you can do to prevent having root canals, because unfortunately, a lot of people who have had one root canal have had 5. You know, or 7 or 10. Yeah, it's a recurring cycle, and a part of that is that when you have decay in your mouth, you may be brushing, flossing, and getting rid of the decay, but sometimes there can be residuals, the residual acid that is left behind, and so a new bacteria can form and eat away at that acid that is actually left behind. And speaking on that, that's one thing that I love about, like, for example, ozone root canals. Ozone actually helps to get rid of not only the bacteria, but also the acid that is left behind. And so a lot of integrative or holistic dentists are going the route of actually treating with ozone preventatively to prevent a lot of root canals, things like that. But if you end up having to have a root canal, as you might have noticed, not the end of the world, but you want to do your research on what you're getting, what's going into your body. And if you don't feel comfortable, know that there are alternatives. There are definitely solutions that can make you happy, that can make you healthy, that can, you know, help you to feel comfortable with what you're doing for your health.
Yeah, I love it. And I just, you know, we're talking about teeth today. But that is the same approach that we should take with our overall health. You know, I think we are in a society where it's been indoctrinated, and I think that is the appropriate word. We've been indoctrinated to believe that, you know, our health lies within the hands of medical professionals. And that's actually, I don't know if it was me and you, it was me and somebody were having this conversation, and they said that's actually not the case. Well, that's not the case. They really are there for emergency situations, right? We are in a car accident and we need treatment, and it's right. But we see this so much now with, you know, the times that we're living in. We burden the healthcare. What's the word I'm looking for? Industry, the structure, all of that, by not taking ownership of our own health. You know, we get a cold, we don't know what to do with it. We go to the emergency room. No, there are natural solutions, and we all really need to be empowered to learn what those things are. And then we go to the doctors and the dentists to check up, make sure nothing snuck up in there, something that we didn't know was happening is happening, right? But we really do have to be empowered. And that's really what I hope you guys take away from this conversation, is that be empowered. It's your decision, what you want. Nobody can force a root canal. Nobody can force you to take a medication. No, it's not how that works. You do your own research. You don't just take someone's word for it. You understand the pros, the cons, the risks, the benefits, and then you make a decision that works for you.
Yes.
It works for you. And I remember leaving that first, my traditional dentist, and I was like, no. I don't feel good about what he's saying. And then I started to do some research, and I went to the second dentist, and I was like, I don't know. This one's a little different. I don't know. You say a lot of stuff. Let me see. And then I finally got to another dentist, and I was like, what is it? This is Goldilocks. This is just right. So it's right down the middle. So you gotta take the time, though, because that took a lot of time, a lot of research. Take the time to figure it out, and then do what's best for you. Now, really quickly, we're gonna wrap this up because you and I all day and all night. But essential oils. So that's how I found you. You were interested in essential oils. So in your research, which oils are best for dental health?
Oh, wow, what a loaded question.
All of them.
So, right, exactly. I mean, essentially, yes. So really, there are certain essential oils that we use even in traditional dentistry right now today to treat certain dental issues. But there are tons of essential oils that are beneficial for different things. And I think the beauty of essential oils, and the more you go down the essential oil rabbit hole, you find that essential oils are such a complex structure. It's not this one does this and this one does this. We're used to that. We've been indoctrinated with, and I love that word, with medications. But what has happened with essential oils is this. Basically, with essential oils, scientists have studied them. They have studied them and studied them and studied them. And they've said, well, we need something that will fix a cavity. And so they find these, or will kill germs, let's say. And so they go to plants, biomimetics, it's a whole science. They go to plants, they go to natural things, and they look at, well, how is this? And then they extract all the different parts of the DNA, and they look at all of those things, and they see, okay, it's this one microbiome right here that does the thing, and they take that one, and then they make a medication. And then the medication has side effects. With essential oils, however, they're whole, they're complete. And so lots of different essential oils do lots of different things. And that's the complexity and the beauty of essential oils. There are so many of them that can be used as antifungals, that can be used as antibacterials, or one drop of this mixed with that can just make beautiful solutions together. And so it's difficult to say which ones are best for oral health, because honestly, there's probably 20,
Absolutely.
But if you're having, for example, let's say sensitivity, oil of clove can be wonderful for sensitivity. In fact, we use it in dentistry today. If you have dry socket after an extraction, You're going to smell clove oil when they pack that dry socket because they're using oil of clove. But there are so many others. A little bit of peppermint oil can be antibacterial. You know, there are some that are antifungal. So if you're having problems, like, for example, with yeast infection in your mouth, like Candida albicans, there are several that can be used for that. And so you just want to make sure, like we talked about, that your essential oils are high quality, that they're safe, that they're wild harvested, they're organic. Because if you're going to put something in your mouth, and you're already doing other natural things, then maybe the bright blue toothpaste, you know, is not the best solution for you. You know,
yeah.
You know, who knows what that, you know, is made of. And so I just say get a few basic essential oils. Talk to a professional, an aromatherapist, a holistic practitioner, a dentist, a hygienist, who can help you to figure out which oil combinations can not only help you to treat your oral health, but can also support your whole body in treating your oral health, you know, and what supplements are going to be good for that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And guys, just so you know, Calandra is not with doTERRA yet. She's she is
a friend of mine asked me that the other day, and I said I'm being heavily courted.
Yes, we're dating. We're on a date right now, actually. So yeah, I love it though, and I that's why I wanted to invite you here, because it's good to hear from someone else, right?
Yeah.
That's not selling a product. That the power of these oils, and I love how you broke it down scientifically, because that is true. They're so multifunctional. They're so dynamic. They have so many amazing qualities and amazing benefits. I was at that event that I went to in Atlanta. They were saying there was one particular oil, and I have to look at my notes, can't remember what it was. And they said this one particular oil has like 97% of one chemical, and they were like, it's so rare. That's so rare that you have one oil that's just so heavily dominated by one chemical, because usually there's just so many different things that they can do, and that's why everybody needs to be on a regimen of essential oils. That's how we're going to end this conversation. Everybody needs to be.
We were made for the earth, and it was made for us. So if we use the things of the earth to support us, it will.
It just is going to work. That's my thing. If you believe in a creator, then you must believe that he created us to live on this earth. And the things of this earth are the things that we need to help us be healthy and happy. So we need to tap into that, and we need to do more research on that. And we need to stop being so reliant on the synthetic, you know, pills and such. I mean, I guess I'm not being balanced with my thought. If you
listen, I'm here for it. Let me tell you, I loved what you said about taking ownership of your health. That, you know, your health is your responsibility. I always tell my patients, you know, coming to the dentist or even going to the doctor, it's like going to get your oil changed. But the longevity of your car depends on you. How you treat your car.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this was so good. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had so many questions, and I think I hit all of the questions that we got. I knew people were gonna love this topic, because anytime I post about my teeth, everybody's always like, "Oh yeah, me too, me too, me too, me too."
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming and joining us. And go follow her. When I post the video, I will tag you, Calandra. So you can follow her page. What's the name of your page?
Holistic Integrations Oral Care.
Okay. Holistic Integrations Oral Care. So go follow her, and you'll get lots and lots and lots of really good, great info. Thank you so much. Be well, everybody. Have a great weekend. Okay. Bye.